You haven't truly lived until you've spent 45 minutes in a fluorescent lit video easy, arguing with your sibling over which DVD to rent, only to storm out with neither pick and a consolation prize, a packet of pods, and a mild existential crisis. That was the ritual. That was Friday night. Back when Netflix and chill meant nothing and late fee was the scariest phrase in the Australian lexicon, Video Easy was the destination. A glowing orange beacon of hope at the end of a long school week. But then, one day, it was gone. Quietly. Almost awkwardly. Like the friend who stops showing up to Gathos and no one asks why. So what actually happened to Australia's biggest video rental chain? Let's rewind and take a look at how a suburban staple became a nostalgic ghost. Back in the 80s, if you wanted to watch a movie at home, you had two options. First was to pray it was on one of your TV channels, or the more secure option, go rent it on VHS. Enter Video Easy, founded in 1983 by Mark Bergen in Sydney. It was slick, colourful, and ran like a well-oiled suburban machine. It combined retail efficiency with that local Aussie charm. A place where the teenager behind the counter probably went to your school and gave you an extra night on your rental if you were cool. By the early 2000s, Video Easy had exploded to more than 500 franchises across the country. It was the Blockbuster of Australia, except with slightly fewer lawsuits and better late fee negotiations. The stores were everywhere. Malls, high streets, suburban corners. You couldn't swing a rewound VHS tape without hitting a glowing orange sign promising 2 new releases for $6.95. And let's not downplay the power of that orange membership card. It was a badge of honor in any Aussie wallet. Video Easy was a cash cow, at least for a while. The business model was simple and honestly kind of genius for its time. Most of the money flowed in from 3 key areas: new release rentals at premium prices, late fees, which, let's be honest, were often more suspenseful than the actual thrillers on the shelf, and a steady stream of memberships, snack upsells, and eventually even game and console rentals. It was a retail goldmine disguised as weekend entertainment. But there was a catch, a big one. This wasn't a low-cost operation. New release DVDs could cost over $100 wholesale, and that's before you factored in the rent, staff wages, insurance, and electricity bills to keep those neon signs and CRT TVs buzzing 7 days a week. Not to mention the occasional child using the game demo station as a jungle gym. The whole thing worked, but only if people kept walking through the doors. And for a while, they absolutely did. Parents with kids, teens killing time after school, and that one guy who rented The Fast and the Furious every weekend without fail. But as times changed, those footsteps got quieter, and suddenly, a business model built on foot traffic, physical stock, and overdue fees started to feel like a blockbuster-sized liability. Contrary to public demand, however, the first cracks in Video Easy's empire didn't come from Netflix, not at first. They came from something far more chaotic: the internet. By the mid-2000s, Aussies were discovering a whole new way to watch movies illegally. Peer-to-peer sharing platforms like LimeWire and BitTorrent were booming. Why pay $6.95 to rent a DVD when you could download a blurry cam rip of Pirates of the Caribbean for free? As long as you were okay with waiting 36 hours and maybe destroying your family's PC in the process. It wasn't exactly high quality, or legal, or safe, but free was free. Video Easy saw the warning signs and tried to pivot. To their credit, they didn't just sit on their hands, they threw a bunch of digital ideas at the wall to see what would stick. That included launching a digital streaming service long before streaming was the norm, though few people noticed. Rolling out DVD kiosks under the name Video Easy Express, vending machines that offered rentals in shopping centers and servo foyers. Basically Redbox, but with a Southern Hemisphere accent, experimenting with download cards and loyalty apps which are trying to blur the line between physical rentals and online access. And lastly, the introduction of mobile-based rental systems, hoping to meet people where they were, on their phones. It all sounded innovative on paper, but there was one problem. The business model underneath was still tied to physical media, physical locations, and physical costs. Trying to turn a video rental franchise into a tech company was like slapping a streaming app on a VCR and calling it next gen. You can bolt on all the bells and digital whistles you want, but at the end of the day, you're still running a business that depends on foot traffic and plastic discs. Streaming didn't just outpace them, it rewrote the rules. No due dates, no late fees, no awkward small talk at the counter, just instant access, infinite choice, and no reason to leave your couch. And for a company built on the ritual of going out to rent something, that shift in behavior was fatal. Here's where the drama hits executive level. By the 2010s, Video AZ was owned by Hoyts Group, which also owned Blockbuster's Australian operations. Yes, Australia had both brands because redundancy is fun. In 2013, Hoyts sold its rental kiosk business to a private company called Access Digital Entertainment, which tried to salvage the model via vending machines and streaming experiments. But the real death knell came in 2021, when the parent company that operated the remaining kiosks, the Franchise Entertainment Group, FEG, went into voluntary administration, which translates to they were broke and politely asked their creditors for mercy. FEG didn't just run Video AZ, it also owned Blockbuster Australia and some DVD distribution operations. By that point, they were basically shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic. The administrators cited declining revenues in a highly disrupted market, which is corporate speak for, everyone has Netflix now, mate. With mounting debts and no real pathway forward, the kiosks were quietly shut down. No farewell party, no final rental, just a silent fade out and a lot of confused shoppers wondering why the vending machine at Woolies was suddenly gone. By 2022, Video AZ was done. No more aisles to wander, no more staff picks section featuring the assistant manager's weird obsession with Donnie Darko. No more kids begging to rent Shrek 2 for the 8th time, and weirdly, we miss it. Not because DVDs were better, because they weren't. Not because late fees were fun, they weren't either by the way. But because Video AZ represented something we've lost, the joy of limited choice. Back then, movie night wasn't scrolling endlessly for 40 minutes only to rewatch The Office. It was a mission, a vibe, a fight, a decision. Now, you've got every movie ever made in your pocket and still say, meh, nothing good's on. Today, all that remains of Video AZ are a few sun-faded store signs, some collector's DVDs, and nostalgia TikToks from millennials mourning their childhoods. But its legacy lives on. It introduced millions of Aussies to movies they wouldn't have discovered otherwise. It also gave teens their first jobs, and it turned renting a movie into a shared national experience. Video AZ didn't fail because it was bad. It failed because the world changed, and it couldn't pivot fast enough. In the end, it was outstreamed, outpaced, and outlived. But for a generation of Australians, it'll always be the place you went when there was nothing good on TV. And that was kind of the point. So, is it weird to miss a video store? Probably. But maybe that's the point. Video AZ wasn't just about movies, it was about the experience. The smell of plastic DVD cases. The ritual of choosing just one. The small town social hub disguised as a rental store. And yeah, maybe we don't need Video AZ anymore. But let's be honest, we could all use a little less endless scrolling and a little more walking the aisles with purpose. Thanks for watching. If this video unlocked some forgotten corner of your childhood, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into Aussie icons, and drop your best Video AZ memory in the comments, late fee horror stories, first rentals, awkward DVD dates, whatever you've got. And remember, stay curious, always.